Earl, how do you feel right now? Kind of a vibe check about Monday Night Football at Cincinnati.
Wait, did you say Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
You know what my music this week is? That's my music this week.
Look at that. Look at
That's
that.
what it is right there. This week, what do we expect? Look, it's a big game because it's Monday night. We have seen a couple of weeks of Jayden Daniels, who's looked pretty good. I mean, this is, record aside, which is pro sports. Look, record counts. But record aside, this season was about mainly have you found a quarterback? And you can't say 2 weeks in, but, so far so good. The best of the rookies. I know you guys have been talking about it this week and for a couple of weeks. So he's done the job. All you can ask. It would be nice if they can score some touchdowns, kind of an important thing, I think, in the NFL these days. But this is we go through this now every year, guys, where the first month is just chaos in the NFL. The first 2 weeks have been amazingly chaotic around pro football. You just heard Mike talking about, the Ravens could be 0-3. This is a team, everybody's Super Bowl pick. They're still, everybody thinks they're the best 0-2 football in NFL history, 0-2 team. But, this is where we are. The Miami Dolphins, now without a quarterback, maybe now for the rest of the season, one of those hot picks. So we don't know. The Cowboys got slaughtered by New Orleans, who now the Saints all of a sudden look like, they're, world beaters. What we should see this week is a team that goes in there and I don't want to say doesn't get embarrassed. That's probably a bad term, but this is a potential setup because it's Monday night. It's in Cincinnati. That's kind of a tough place to play. A loud building. They've got a really good quarterback still, even though he's still trying to battle back from last year's injury. And Joe Burrow, they have a receiver that could torch you, and they've gotten beat up by receivers already the first couple of weeks. So you kind of want to brace yourself for this, but this is also the nation's first look at Jayden Daniels. And if he should play well, if they win this game on Monday night, we've heard a lot of national talk, all these shows about Jayden Daniels for a while now through training camp and early this season. Watch out because, that could go up to 11 if he plays well and they win Monday night.
Oh, no doubt. This story is going to be awesome come Tuesday. What about the defense?
Maybe Ron will have something to say about it as an analyst on the NFL.
I'm quite sure he
will.
will.
They got a quarterback now. Okay,
I would have taken him.
Are you more worried about the corner position or the lack of pressure from the edge?
You've talked to me all summer about this. What I keep bringing up, the secondary was always a concern of mine. I think one of my other concerns, offensive line, that's been okay. But Jayden Daniels everything's coming out quick. He's doing a great job. So that was obviously part of the plan. Let's not sit back there all day. Let's just do something quick and cover up that deficiency. The secondary is just, I don't know what they do, Grant. They just don't have the players in the secondary. You need defensive backs that can cover receivers. They seemingly can't find one still. And the Emmanuel Forbes injury opened the door for a guy they signed this offseason who may have been worse. So it's going to be a problem all year unless they add more players and guys who somewhere are not playing football that are suddenly better than what they have. This is going to be a problem. Yes, you can make up for it with some pass rush, and I know that was a topic with Dan Quinn. I'm going through the stuff right now. I'm going to use some of that on Countdown to Kickoff. What you can do, it should be a strength of your team, and it's not. That is a concern, but I think that comes around with the interior of the line playing better and Payne and Allen. You've got to have them, be a force inside. I know that hasn't happened statistically yet, but no matter what, that secondary guys, they ain't changing. The players back there are not changing, and that's a concern because they had a rookie torch them last week, a guy in his second game in the NFL. What's Jamar Chase going to do this week with Joe Burrow? I cringe to think about what could happen.
Earl, I wonder what your interpretation is of this. When Dan Quinn was talking, and it was a thoughtful answer, and I certainly appreciate it. I'm not necessarily criticizing him. I'm just reading into it here a little bit. When he said, we don't want to force the ball to Terry McLaurin, kind of putting words in his mouth, but that was the theme, right?
Yep.
Where I'm going, if Terry was that great, you would force it to him because it wouldn't matter. Like you do what the Giants just did for Malik Neighbors. You would do what Kevin O'Connell's going to do for Justin Jefferson. You do what McDaniel's going to do for Tyreek Hill, and so on down the line. I appreciated that answer because it's, reflects about Jayden Daniels where the offense is, but I'm kind of going, if you, in your eyes, he was that awesome, you would force it to him. That was kind of my interpretation. I wonder what yours was.
And forcing is an issue because what do you mean by quote forcing the ball? Now, Malik Neighbors was getting open, so you're just throwing them the ball. What 18 times was it for him last week? Targets, it's crazy. So, and that's the thing. If forcing the ball to McLaurin means he's not getting open, and you'd have to risk a turnover to do that, then that's more of a receiver problem, right, than an offensive scheme problem. So no one wants to hear it. And I know, the Commanders Nation on X and all the social media don't want to throw their guy under the bus. He's our guy. He's given up so much. But, Terry is a professional. And I know it's a new quarterback again, but, same year, same time next year, basically, for him. So they're going to have to get some chemistry going. At this point, I wouldn't worry too much, but it is concerning. The guy's got 39 yards receiving. Your number one guy, your number one receiver has not done much. But guys, I can look around the NFL and we've seen Travis Kelce has not put up great numbers this year so far. And I know that's Kansas City. It's a different situation, but it's happening all around. I'm not that concerned because I kind of trust in Terry McLaurin. Before I go, real quick, because I know we're at the end.
Yep.
This week, this is a full circle game. I mentioned, Riverboat. But you know what? This is the rematch, right, from 2020. And this goes back to the draft when Chase Young was number 2 pick and Commanders lost a year before that and the whole Miami thing, and they lost a chance to draft Joe Burrow. Look where we are now. Joe Burrow has the still obviously lingering effects of the wrist injury. Young is in New Orleans. The top of that draft, Jeff Okudah in Detroit, he's already gone from there. Number 3 pick, defensive back. Andrew Thomas has kind of been a sort of a bust with the Giants, their offensive tackle. Tua may never play football again. And Justin Herbert is now J.J. McCarthy in the pros. He's throwing 15 times a game. This is where we are with that. So they've come full circle. This is the kind of circle around. You play them every 4 years game. Man, are these teams in different places. And we'll see what happens Monday with Joe Burrow potentially, maybe never right again. I love Joe Burrow. And he's already been to a Super Bowl. You can't take that away. But there's a weird way, and maybe the Commanders 4 years later are in a better place at quarterback than they were back then. We'll see.
Couple AFC championship appearances, Super Bowl. Yeah, and they just look like a different team now.
It would be hard to not take Burrow right now, but if I gave you the option, 2 guys you're drafting, will you take Burrow or you can have one or the other, Burrow or Jayden Daniels right now, where they are, what you know about them? Who would you take?
Burrow. Easily.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's easily. I don't know if it's easily.
I don't.
But you're right. You do take Burrow.
Health notwithstanding, right? I mean, that's the part that makes it maybe not easily, but I think Burrow's a top 3 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, the variable is the wrist. The variable is a young quarterback where 10% of them do anything.
Right. Let me take the other layer. Everybody thought, well, you should have gone Tua at number 2. How does that look now? Would you take what you have now over what Miami has right now? Sure.
Yeah, I mean
it's
stunk for 4 years. I mean, it's been 4 terrible years that we had to sit through. But yes, I never was a Tua guy anyway.
More than 4, Grant. More than 4.
34, I think.
It's like 32.
Since that draft.